December 8th meeting of the Penfield Planning Board. Allison, would you like to call the roll?
Sure. Mr. Hetzke.
Here.
Bastian.
Here.
Knauer.
Here.
Tidings.
Here.
Nersinger.
Here.
Valentine.
Here.
Sangster.
Here.
O'Connor.
Here.
Weissar.
Here.
All right.
Nice.
We have minutes
Yep.
from the last meeting.
Minutes from November 10th meeting were just provided this week via email. Any questions, comments, corrections?
No, I move to approve.
Second. Who was second? Tom?
Bastian and Canal.
I did.
Okay, Hetzke.
Aye. Yes.
Bastian.
I was
Aye.
good.
Knauer.
Aye.
Tidings.
Aye.
All right.
Okay, that's passed.
On to our tabled applications. First one we'll discuss tonight is the Oak and Apple application.
Okay.
All right. So we had some updates come in last week. We also had a couple of advice that included responses to comments as well as updated site plans, just to capture a couple technical items that need to be corrected. However, just at this meeting, we wanted to go over a little recap of the project and if there were any outstanding items or concerns that the board had that they wanted to address. We've been using the board's checklist for this application. Doug's pulling it up on the screen now. As you know, the checklist, we use this to highlight and kind of keep track of all the various aspects of the project as it's related to the site plan review. This includes how the site plan has been designed and laid out, landscaping, architecture, lighting, noise, traffic, environmental sensitivity, parts of the seeker process as well. Throughout the document, we kind of just kept track of things as the board kind of concluded its thoughts on them as we went through it, and it has been keeping track of the project as we go along. So, with some of these topics, just wanted to see if the board had any other last-minute questions or things you needed responses to. If not, we can move on.
We got a draft approval resolution in our drops. You want to go through some of the revisions that...
Yeah, I was going to highlight some of the
Before
site
that, we
plan
just
stuff,
wanted
just
to
to make
touch
sure
on some of the
that
site plan issues though.
the board was comfortable with the checklist, if that's okay.
Yeah.
So we've kind of gone through most of these things. The last items we've had on the table and resolution obviously was the preparation of the draft approval resolution, as well as some final site improvements. Staff's been working on those. There's some final siting of hydrant location. I think we have those things resolved. Another item the board's been working on is the farmstead plan, and we'll get back to that letter. But in your drop, you received there was an anonymous sketch that we had got in. Typically, we don't take anonymous material provided to the board, but this one we just wanted to make sure it was addressed. So, had a sketch that was submitted that showed or questioned another possible location for the project to be located at. We talked about this at PRC, and you should have had it in your drop Friday, a response to that. PRC did have concerns about site access around it, access for fire trucks, proper turning radius, and then got into also talking about once you have the layout, there's grading that's associated with that, so we would get into the EPOD areas. I know this board's worked hard to avoid all EPOD areas, and our thoughts or staff's comments were concerns that would impact the EPODs that were there. We provided the comments to the board, but just wanted to highlight that we did get this in. PRC provided that for your review, and then we'll get into discussion a little bit later about the farmstead letter if the board wants to discuss that this evening and move that along as well.
Yep.
Okay.
All right. So if there are any comments on that, another item before we get into the resolution document was just to review how we stand with seeker right now. We did have a memo from the town's planning consultant that did recommend that this project does meet the criteria as an unlisted action. The board continued to review it as such, and in response to that, the board did direct the applicant to provide a full EAF. Part 1 was completed, submitted for the board. We did receive a couple public comments on that as well. Staff did vet through those comments, didn't find any issues as it related to how the Part 1 was submitted. So as follow-up to that, as the draft approval was prepared, Part 2 and Part 3 EAF of the full EAF document was prepared and provided to the board in advance of this meeting as well. Okay?
Any issues, comments, concerns on that, or, say, obviously the board got the public's comments from last week. Any concerns with what additional information was provided?
No.
Good. So, as AJ brought up, the draft approval resolution was provided to the board via email as well. We kind of go through that document tonight and just kind of highlight some of the key sections that have been included in the document.
So it's been taking the board's comments back and forth. We've had a lot of comments provided and input on that. So he's been taking and compiling it together and just wanted to highlight it, one from the board and then also kind of for the audiences, and some of the items that are in there, and run through some of the conditions on that document.
Yep, so Doug, could you pull up the resolution, please? Perfect, thank you.
That was the rev that was as of
As to-
3/38
Today.
today.
Yes.
right? Okay.
Yep, it was just, we wanted to make sure the latest
Yep.
copy was provided on your laptops just for this meeting as well. So it's, beginning we go through all the whereas statements covering the project's history and background. It's typical of all of our resolutions. We go on to the next page. We did include the conditions. Where are you? Page 2. Okay, go to page 3. It covers the easements that will be required for this project, as well as a property maintenance agreement. Mark, can you highlight a couple items, what we typically cover in the property
Yeah, I
maintenance
mean,
agreement?
typically for any bigger project, we would have a property maintenance agreement. Just the applicant signs that. It's a filed document that goes with it. Just requires them to keep their property in proper working order, keep the site clean. It's a standard easement or resolution that the board goes for any
Commercial development.
or any place where the public is coming or accessing. So it's normal that we have a property maintenance agreement.
So that was included in the resolution. We have referenced the landscaping review that took place from the town's landscape consultant, as well as referencing the lighting plan, how that was reviewed by the board for dark sky compliant fixtures, as well as some decorative lighting under the street trees going up the proposed driveway. Then we go on to page 4. And this is where we begin to, at the bottom, Doug, we begin to add some of the additional conditions for potential approval. These include some extra items that go outside our typical resolution. The first being hours of operation are noted there. As the applicant had proposed them during the public hearing, we have 11 to 7 p.m. on Thursday, 11 to 8 p.m. on Friday and Saturdays, and 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. on Sundays during the fall harvest season. That's included in there. We scroll on to the next page. We've included conditions about prohibiting outdoor music. Any music sources will be contained within the building for the cidery. We added conditions for the concerns about selling cider-related products, ancillary products, such as, t-shirts, mugs, whatever it may be. We had a condition in there that is backed by and references New York State Ag and Markets guidelines.
Well, and also cider and products that are not.
Yes, that was
That's
the
the
other.
next one.
Yeah, the next condition after that does restrict, as the applicant had stated, had proposed, was selling only their product on site. We add a condition for that. It's also included in the easement that way as well, so therefore we are again referencing the easement to that condition. We mentioned no banquet part. This is not a place for banquets and party facilities. Limited outside storage is allowed for agricultural operations only. Let's see, there's a condition in there referencing that the town board does have to see this again to agree to the farmstead area cited on the plan as part of the easement. Following that, we got into the board's findings as well. This references site layout. Again, it talks about noises, noise generation, lights, any traffic, circulation, again, landscaping. All these things have been covered in the findings in those following pages. It does reference on page 8, and as part of the protection towards adjacent properties, that this is a customary agricultural operation permitted under the town code. And it's also has been designed to meet the requirements of the easement as well. So we did make reference to that. Again, all of this was based on the board's discussions and comments that have taken place over the last few months. We, again, took all those notes and compiled them into this document. And we've also made reference to any other letters or documents that have come in through the review process from other agencies or consultants, or committees such as the PRC. We referenced those as well at the end of the document. At this point, does the board have any questions or concerns about the document?
Anybody?
No.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
I guess with that, does the board have any other further issues, concerns, points of discussion?
You guys good with what's covered in here? And, I think it's pretty comprehensive and takes into account most, if not all, of the concerns that we have and the neighbors have, I think.
Okay. So, not hearing any concerns at this point, I'll ask the board if they're prepared to make any votes this evening. The board could take a vote on the full EAF for parts 2 and part 3. There'd be one vote. That could be followed by a vote on the draft approval resolution for an approval of the project. And then, as Mark said, we do have a farmstead area letter that was drafted from the board's concerns that and review process that would be provided to the town board when it reviews, again, that criteria in the easement, that requirement in the easement to review the farmstead area as cited on the plan.
You want to talk about the farmstead letter before you?
I think we're going to do the EAF, however you're comfortable with.
However the board feels.
I'm comfortable.
Yeah. Bob,
Okay, so,
Yeah.
Terry, you guys?
so we'll have a vote for the full EAF part 2, part 3.
Sure.
So I'll move to approve the full EAF.
I'll second.
1, 2, and 3.
Okay, Hetzke,
Aye.
Bastian,
Aye.
Canower,
Aye.
Tidings.
Aye.
So that was for the neg deck on the EAF, and then the board's ready on the resolution.
Okay.
I'm ready on the resolution, so I'll move to approve.
Do you have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, Hetzke,
Aye.
Bastian,
Aye.
Canower,
Aye.
Tidings.
Aye.
Yeah, the only other item we've already, the board's already authorized to send a letter to the town board about the sidewalk waiver piece. The other is the farmstead area. It's something we've talked about earlier, is whether the board was wanted to send something to the town board on it. You indicated you wanted to send something previously, so we've taken your comments. We worked through and drafted a farmstead area letter, basically recapturing the board's discussions of the EPOD areas, the site distances, the access around the site, the setbacks that are on there. Also taking the little graphic that we looked at several meetings ago, kind of showing that 150-foot buffer around the outside, adding the EPODs, adding all the other stuff in, kind of
Showing how the farmstead area's been reduced over the course of the board's review process from what was originally
5
5
acres.
acre down to now a 1 acre area.
Yep, so taking all your comments together, we provided you with a draft of the farmstead area. Basically, this is a letter to the town board saying here's the process we took, here's the items we discussed, and we believe that the building is sited in the best location possible. Just want to know if the board's comfortable with it, has any changes
I read
to it, or whether
lays
the
it out.
board's supportive of sending that to the town board.
I think it lays it out very succinctly
Yeah.
and clearly how we got to that location and that size, and so I think it's a good letter, personally.
I'm good with it. You want me to make a motion?
Sure.
Make a motion to forward it to the town board.
I'll second.
Okay, Hetzke.
Aye.
Bastian.
Aye.
Canower.
Aye.
Tidings.
Aye.
Okay, now just before we, excuse me, leave this application, just wanted to let the audience know that there are many more steps past this. So construction will not start tomorrow. It is now referred back to the town board. So we'll send the letter off to the town board. Has to go back to the board, and the board will review the farmstead area location. Staff will continue to do finalizing, we call it a pre-Mylar review, reviewing the final details, getting the resolutions completed, working on easements, getting that stuff wrapped up. Mylars come in, staff would have to go through Mylar review. We make sure all the other agencies are completed, have their information in as well. Once we have that, we would then schedule pre-construction meeting with the applicant, their engineer, as well as take a letter of credit. The town has some sureties to make sure erosion control is maintained, any utilities that are going to be owned and maintained by the town, landscaping, any other items that are pertinent to the site. We don't take private elements of the property, the building, excuse me, all that under a letter of credit. We take some items for surety. So just kind of wanted to put it out there for the audience and for the TV that there are many more steps in this process. You know, if this board has completed its part of it, there's still other pieces to move ahead on.
Nicely put, Mark. Thank you.
Okay.
All right.
So
Move on to...
we have other table
We
items.
do.
Get to those before the public hearing.
Yes. All right. Second table application, Bayview Landing, once again, no updates. Sorry, it's the same old story. We will reach out to the applicant once again to kind of get a status check, Bob.
Okay,
Okay?
okay,
I think
I'll,
we last heard from them in the summertime that they were still working out some
Yeah.
financing for the project. But we're kind of coming on a year of the public hearing, so just trying to see if they're going to move ahead or not.
touch base with them and see what
touch
their
base.
plans are
I mean, they
first
could-
quarter.
Yeah, they could
Yeah.
either pull the application, the board could deny without prejudice, just to kind of wrap it up, you know, for this portion, if they're not going to move ahead, just to get it off our agenda from continue to be tabled every month.
Okay, I'll motion that we continue tabling that application pending communication from the applicant.
I'll second it.
Hetzke.
Aye.
Bastian.
Aye.
Canower.
Aye.
Tidings.
Aye.
Okay. And we're a little out of order since we have one of our applicants in the audience. We'll go to the Chili's application.
Please.
Okay.
So just for update to the board, they did get most of their approvals from the zoning board For the site plan specific ones, they did get those lot coverage parking numbers, they got those. Any denial from the zoning board was related to signage, basically for a percentage of the size of the sign. They were granted signage for 3 sides of the building: the front, the north side, and the side facing the plaza. Mainly because there are many points of access
Right.
and many points of visibility for this project, and so the zoning board felt that was appropriate. Therefore, the building designs and architecture were updated per the zoning board's decisions. Those were provided by the applicant for the board's drop last week, so you have a copy of those. But Bill, I just wanted to follow up on a comment you had for the dumpster enclosure. Those are composite materials. Yes, so to make it look like wood, but not wood.
Said it's a new Trex product that they're coming out with, so maybe something new to,
Because it's very visible location.
yeah.
Well,
Yes.
size of that,
But
yeah.
it's,
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's Trex itself, but it's a
Okay.
Trex.
There are options
material.
similar to
The
that out
architect's
there.
talking about composite for the doors.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
the doors of the dumpster enclosure.
Yep, that was the
Sorry.
question that came up, was about the doors.
Okay.
Cool. So it's like calling tissues Kleenex, yeah.
I'd say, I don't know.
Putting a name
I
on
heard
it.
Trex, but whether that was just saying it was that type of material, but I know we've had issues in the past with
If you're
chain
pumped,
link in
you're
the
not
slats
real happy about
and wood that over
Soft
time kind
plywood.
of rots. So it's good to see they're looking at a new material that may,
That'll hold up.
it'll hold up a little longer and maybe a good product for us moving forward.
One other thing that the board asked for was just acknowledgement that the plaza owners are, 1, aware of the project, and 2, would be agreeable to cross-access and shared parking. In their responses from the DeMarco Group, who are also the owners of the plaza and this site now, well, we're the owners and are still the owners. In their response from November 17th, I believe, or 16th, they did indicate that shared parking, cross-access would be agreed to, and easements would be filed for that between both properties. With that, the board didn't have too many issues about the site plan, was supportive of the architecture at the last meeting. The applicant has answered all of the concerns. They have provided responses to PRC memos and have updated the plans accordingly. Does the board have any outstanding questions or concerns for the application? Okay, so we did provide a EAF and a draft approval resolution for this evening. The board can act on those tonight.
I'll motion to approve the EAF.
Okay.
I'll second
Terry? Thank you.
Hetzke.
Aye.
Bastian.
Aye.
Canower.
Aye.
Tidings.
Aye.
Thank you. And the approval resolution?
I'll motion to approve the draft
it. Second approval.
approval resolution.
Thank you.
I'll second it, Allison.
Okay, thank you. Hetzke.
Aye.
Bastian.
Aye.
Canower.
Aye.
Tidings.
Aye.
I think you can knock this next one out.
Yeah, I think so.
Verizon, please. All set.
Thank you.
The Verizon cell tower application on Shoecraft Road. The board, at its last meeting, asked for a comparison of what the monopole proposed design would look like compared to a monopine design. The applicant has since provided a response and a revised, or a plan for the board's review and consideration to compare the two. It is important to note that the monopine design would increase the overall height of the tower by an additional 10 feet. That would be a total of 144 feet to its point, to its peak. And on this plan, they also resurveyed the current height of the existing trees out there, which are approximately 40 feet in height, leaving about 100 feet in tower, or monopine. So the applicant has provided this at the board's request. I open up to the board for any discussion about what your opinion would be.
William?
Well, I like the pine if it was set on a hillside or a mountainside where it would blend in with the background. I think it's going to be much more visible than a monopole.
I would agree.
So my opinion right now is I'd go with the monopole, because the pine is just so much bigger and more
Right.
visible.
Yeah, and I had never seen one like this. I've only seen them where they do it at the top.
Yeah,
And I saw one of these driving back from North Carolina a couple of weeks ago. And I would agree with Bill. I think the monopole would be less noticeable.
I agree. I mean, at first, I'm thinking that, okay, let's disguise it some way, but, you know, I've seen some of these also in my travels, and it's the kind of thing that you know, we've gotten so accustomed to seeing cell towers that we don't actually
Right.
see them anymore.
right.
It's like, you know, I bet most people don't even know if they have telephone poles on their street. You know, they'd have to think twice about that, and yet, I mean, they're everywhere, at least on older streets. And this type of thing, you notice. I mean, you
Oh, it's-
definitely know it's
yeah.
there.
Yeah, it's big.
So, yeah, I've actually changed my
Me too.
opinion on that too.
Yeah, if it were in the mountains and you could have a mountain going up behind it, it would blend
Yeah.
in more. I think
Yeah.
Lake George has one similar. Franklin
Yeah, and the
Pine, they
same
call
thing
it.
would be with a silo or
Yeah,
a water tower or bell tower or, you know,
the surrounding land and the topography just doesn't lend
Yeah.
itself to
yeah.
that. It's flat. They could paint the monopole gray to blend in with the Rochester sky.
Which it would be by default.
Yeah,
And most of them are galvanized gray
Yeah.
anyway.
yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I changed my mind on this.
Yeah. All right.
With that,
Terry,
I'm good with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I need staff to start on.
Yeah, if you could start a draft resolution going, that'd be terrific.
Who's moving that?
That would be probably Bill.
That, we just need to continue saying.
Well,
Oh, sorry.
Move to, I mean,
You wanna move to the
table
table?
resolution and give them
Move to
that
table
we can-
pending the draft resolution.
Yeah, yeah.
We have a second?
Sorry, I'm clarifying.
Canower.
Hetzke,
Aye.
Bastian,
Aye.
Canower,
Aye.
Tidings.
Aye.
Do we have any applicants actually here?
Yes,
yet?
the doors are closed, they don't know they can come in.
Oh,
That's all.
okay.
I'll
Do we
go
have
take
anything
care of
else
that.
to cover before the public hearing, or should we be?
Miscellaneous, but we're 2 minutes out. so-
Yeah.
Okay, let's get going.
Or close to the time.
Get those guys in, set up. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the December 8th, 2016 meeting of the Penfield Planning Board. We will start the meeting with a Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay. Thank you, everyone. We have 2 items on our agenda this evening. First is a sketch plan, which is an informal review of a concept that somebody has. We will hear the applicant's idea. The board will ask questions, and then we open it up for the audience's input. After that, we'll have the public hearing, which is a formal application, and the same process will hold true. So, Mr. Nersinger, if you could read the first application, that'd be much appreciated.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Application number 1, T.Y. Lin International, 255 East Avenue, Rochester, New York, 14604, on behalf of Sam Kaiser, requests an informal discussion before the board with plans for a parking lot expansion with associated site improvements at 2328 Old Browncroft Boulevard. The property is now or formerly owned by WDFA LLC and is zoned R-1-20. Application number 16P-0019, SBL number 108.18-1-1.
Great.
Good evening. I am Nate Butzak. I'm with T.Y. Lin International. As Zach said, I'm representing Mr. Sam Kaiser on a sketch plan that we came up with, or working with him on, to expand his parking lot on his existing site at Glendevere's. The site's located at basically the end of the severed section of Old Browncoff Boulevard, which is at 2328 Old Browncoff Boulevard. It's currently used as a restaurant, banquet facility, and this is an existing site plan that we have up on the board. They currently have about 38 parking spaces, which is in front of the site and on the east side of the site. It's not nearly enough to fit their needs. So what they're planning to do, based on the sketch plan, is to expand the parking lot over into the east side of the property, which is shown on the next concept site plan. The plan is to expand the parking lots to accommodate approximately 85 parking spaces on site. That's an increase of about 37 parking spaces on the property. To do this, they have to basically do a lot of excavation work in this portion of the property. For those who are not aware, it's a pretty steep hill, probably about 40 to 45 feet from down at the parking lot to the top of the hill, which is in this area. Next plan kind of shows that grading on a concept sketch plan level. So to do this, the main element that Mr. Sam Kaiser is going to first deal with is getting rid of the hill so that we can get down to a grade that we can work with. To do this, it's going to take multiple construction seasons to remove the excess material. The idea behind it is hopefully teaming with a local contractor or someone in the need of fill, that they can take this fill and expand it, take it off-site, and truck it to a place that they need, which is helping our project move forward. So that's kind of the key for this project. Once we get to a point that we can get the grades to work, it's going to take probably another 3 months to grade out the parking lot, pave it, etc., put in the storm drainage needed. And that's pretty much it. There are, I think we included a profile, kind of give you an idea. So basically, it's hard to see, but the parking lot on this side is where we're going to match in. And right now we're playing around with, from the existing parking lot up, was about 3% grades, having a swale surrounding the parking lot to collect any water that's running off the steep slopes. And right now, without geotech report, we're playing around with slopes on 1-on-2s to 1-on-3s around the parking lot after it's graded out. But after geotech is done on the site, we'll determine exactly what those slopes can be and what the limit is.
You're talking about when you cut into the hill.
Yep.
This sort of that retaining
The retaining
wall,
slope, correct.
whatever.
Yep. Would be a 1 vertical to a 2 horizontal is the way the concept is done now. It may come back from the geotech report that it may need to be 1-on-2.5 or 1-on-3, which is going to cut down on the limits of of our parking lot that we can actually fit on site. Because we can't expand our grading past the property line, as our goal is to keep the grading within the site.
So you want it to be natural, not a wall or
Correct.
something of those.
So it would be
those
natural,
lines.
and we would come up with a plan to either plant trees or et cetera, to regrowth the side of that hill.
All right, I didn't mean to interrupt your
Sure.
presentation, but
But that's basically it. It's going to involve taking down trees. When we complete the survey, we're going to do an actual tree survey to determine the number of trees, the size of trees that will come down, and then provide, as we move through the design phases, the additional plantings that will be encompassed into the plan. But right now, we don't have an exact count on the number of trees. We do have rough counts on earthwork. It's going to be about 35,000 to 40,000 cubic yards, with cuts up to about 40 to 45 feet. So it's quite extensive. But our client is in dire need of a place to have additional parking to fit the needs of the facility. Right now, they kind of park down Old Browncoff Boulevard when they have larger events. And that's pretty much the project. So, you guys have any questions?
if they found a buyer or taker of the soil
Yep.
that would take all of it at once, would that prompt them to do it all in one construction season, or?
It's possible. We think with the large amount of cut material that is going to have to be taken off of the site, it's going to take at least one construction season to do that, and then probably leaning into starting up in the spring the following year to complete the actual parking lot, final grading, and asphalt, et cetera, grading, the stormwater work, et cetera. So,
Just a point of curiosity, you'd mentioned it's a restaurant and banquet facility.
yep.
Are they only open for banquets, or are they open as a restaurant on a regular basis?
I'm not sure on that. I know that mainly it's a banquet facility. I'm not sure on the restaurant part of it. If they do open up for lunch, I'm not sure.
Okay. And are you in receipt of the PRC comments?
Yes.
And the engineering comments about the slope or proposed
Yep.
idea for increasing the slope of the actual parking lot?
Yes, yeah, no, that's a good idea. Increasing it from like 3 to 5%.
Yeah.
We will definitely consider that in the design as we move forward. That will raise up the parking lot and allow for possibly the slopes on the backside to be flatter than what we're proposing. Yes, we're going to consider that, definitely.
Okay.
They used to have a big tent set up there, I know, in the front or on the side.
Okay.
Now, are their intentions, once they get this cleared out and put that lot over there, is they're gonna move that over there? They're gonna keep that in the front? I mean, because that probably takes a lot of the parking, right? I would imagine, right now.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I haven't seen
Just-
the tent or, where it's
Yeah.
been placed, or what their intention
Right.
is in the future. I'm not
Just to
100%
keep
sure.
in mind.
But we'll think about that and consider it in our design.
What about around Aquia Creek? How close is that gonna be to where you're gonna be? Is it even close to that area where you're gonna do all the digging?
Ronacoy Creek is right
Just
here.
On the west side, right?
Yeah, it's on the west side of the site, and basically it comes up and kind of heads maybe this way a little bit. But the only thing we're going to be into is the 100-foot wetland buffer with the outlet. Right now, we're thinking with the outlet for the stormwater is going to go through, it's not really shown on this plan very good, but there's an embankment that kind of starts right on the back side of this building. So we're thinking either directional drilling this. The idea is to limit our impacts to the wetland, but we're understanding that we're going to need a wetland DEC permit to do this.
So basically, Mr. Kaiser just feels he's gonna need 50 more parking spots down there to address parking issues?
Yeah. Right now, they have, according to Sam, they have about 200 occupancy for parties is, the limit. Is kind of their limit that they can occupy at one time.
Good luck.
Thank you.
You said it's going to most likely happen over multiple construction seasons.
Yeah.
How are you going to control the erosion and the runoff? Because you're not going to, I doubt you would plant grasses or anything on it as they keep taking away dirt.
Sure.
So what's the plan there?
I think we're going to have to look at that once we determine how fast, for example, if we have a buyer of the material and we can determine, are they going to take this all in one season? Are they going to take it over multiple seasons? That'll help us determine the plan to implement. But I can foresee having just silt fence around, definitely around the construction, or at least the excavation area at each time. And as they move further into the hill, we're going to have to determine at what point do we restabilize the slopes. But yeah, we'll definitely have a plan for that as we move forward. And we'll have kind of my anticipating is going to be a construction phasing plan. We're going to have to do a SWIP for this, so we're going to have to detail that all out on each phase, and if we're going to need temporary sediment basins, that kind of thing. So we'll look at all that.
Okay. That's all.
Yeah, that was one of the questions I had, the water quality,
Yep.
addressing that, and it sounds like that's something that,
Yeah,
like you said, you'll be addressing.
yeah, right now, with the project the way it stands, we're over an acre of a disturbance. So we're going to need to do a SWIP, which is going to get us into implementing the water quality practices and possibly even some detention, so.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, anybody in the audience like to comment on this application? Sir, come on up.
Ed Linskog, 40 Willow Pond Way, and Vice President of Penfield Trails. We have a trailhead immediately east of this location with public access currently. I don't know if there's any formal agreements in place or what, but I'd certainly like to see that some public access is made available and some parking provided for the trailhead. It's a highly used trail that goes all the way to Empire Boulevard through Lucian Warren Park. The idea is to connect the trail along Arundequoit Creek from the canal in Pittsford all the way up to Empire Boulevard. And that's what we're currently working on, some sections that aren't finished yet. We're dealing with the state under Route 286. There's sections of the trail missing. If the board would take that into consideration when they're dealing with this application, that would be very helpful.
Okay,
Thank you.
great, thank you. Would anyone else like to comment on this sketch plan? No? Okay, anybody else on the board have any other questions?
Nope.
Nate, thank you very much for your presentation. We will draft a letter, and it'll be out to you, my guess, sometime next week, but
Soon.
soon. How's that sound, soon? That way I don't commit, staff to anything that they get upset about. So,
We appreciate that.
sure. All right. Zach, please read the next application.
All right. Public hearing application,
For Louise Cleary, 1252 Jackson Road, Webster, New York, 14580, request under Chapter 250, Article 11-11.2 of the Code of the Town of Penfield for preliminary and final subdivision approval for a two-lot re-subdivision of 27.71 acres on the property located at 1250 Jackson Road. The property is now or formerly owned by Louise Cleary and is zoned RR1, application number 16P-0018, SBL number 095.03-1-1.1. And who is speaking on this application? You can come up to the podium.
Okay.
And while you're doing that, our town engineer is just going to come by and put a copy of the proposed site plan on the board behind you, just for reference while you're
okay.
discussing it. But if you'd like to get started, feel free to.
My name's Dennis Gauger, and I think it's pretty simple. Louise is just looking to section off a 5-acre lot.
Can you just state your address, please, for the record?
7212 North Acres Lane in Ontario.
Thank you.
If you could just briefly describe the project, what is being asked, and maybe some general parameters. So how big is a parcel right now? What you propose to do? I know it's a subdivision into 2 lots.
Well, I think Zach read the parcel acreage, which I'm not exactly sure what that is, 27 point something.
Approximately 27 acres.
And it's sectioning off the farmhouse with 5 acres. And that's pretty much it.
Okay. Mark, you want to put up the plan there?
So this is the whole area, and then this is the proposed area to be sectioned off.
Okay, so that other parcel in between is somebody else's lot currently, right?
That's Louise's lot, yep.
Okay. And then the existing house will be part of the subdivided
Correct,
lot, the 5 acres.
correct.
There's there's several other buildings on that property, correct?
Yep. And they're all noted here. There's different barns and old chicken coops and whatnot.
Those are still, this is Clary's, those barns?
Yes, that's all part of the one property right now, and they're sectioning off this 5 acres, which does include those.
Right, okay. So your intentions aren't going to sell off the property right now, or anything like that?
Nope,
Just want to break them up?
correct.
Okay. Now, have you reviewed the comments submitted by the PRC, the county, you or Ms. Clary, and addressed those issues?
Yes, I believe they got emailed back this afternoon to, was it you, Zach?
Yes. Yes, revised site plans were provided today and provided to the board electronically, and you have them in front of you.
Okay, you're all
as
set
hard
with those,
copies.
you don't have a problem with your amendment to the requested easements for the sidewalk and drainage issues?
Mm-hmm. I mean, I'm assuming you can still plant inside of the drainage easement, and that wouldn't be affected with it.
Okay. And then the property is eligible for the agricultural exemption from the town assessors, right? Because it's, even though it's 5 acres, you're aware of that, correct?
It is or is not?
It's not.
Not.
It
See,
needs
I
to
don't-
be 7 acres.
7 acres.
Right,
You're aware of that, it's not an issue, correct?
correct.
Okay.
Okay, I'm good.
I had one question. The one structure, the southmost structure by the proposed new boundary line, what's the function of that structure?
I think it's just an old storage shed or workshop.
Okay. Was there a structure that was used for any livestock previous?
Possibly the main barn.
Okay,
I'm not
and
really
that's in
aware.
the center of the, basically in the center of the property?
It's the one on the north.
On the north, okay.
The center one's the house.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
Any other questions from the board?
No, I'm all set.
Anyone in the audience like to comment on this application? No? Okay. Thank you for your presentation, and it's, like you said, it's pretty clear cut, so at that, we will call a hearing closed. Thank you. Happy holidays, everybody.
Do we want to just
Wanna stay on this topic?
go out of order quick and take care of the Cleary application?
Yep.
I had a concern, my only concern, the one structure that's on the south, if that's used for livestock, there's a limitation, unless there's a variance granted, it's gotta be 100 feet.
Which one are you talking
So
about?
keep open, Mario.
You're talking that one right there?
Yeah, so.
No, that's an existing southern boundary around the house.
Oh, that's an existing
That's an
boundary?
existing boundary around the house. It's just the back part that's the new.
This
okay.
line exists.
So it's an existing
It's
setback.
this part that they're,
So
Okay,
it'd be
I thought they were
pre-existing.
cutting more, okay,
No,
gotcha.
it basically is pre-existing, non-conforming the way it exists now. It's the back piece. There, you can see a little better, so you can see in the yellow is the existing lot line,
Yeah,
the existing house. They're just gonna extend that line straight back and then carve off a
okay.
5-acre parcel
And he
for
did
that.
mention it's more of a shop right now anyway, okay.
Yeah, yeah, so there wouldn't be any issues, at least with the zoning board on that.
Yeah, okay.
All right.
Yeah, there is no,
Say we
there
asked
is
for
no
the-
zoning board application with this.
We asked for some
No.
drainage easements. There is no issue with planting whatnot in. That just gives us the opportunity in the future as the town to go in and clean those drainage ways. To get in there, if we have to dredge it out, obviously we can inform all property owners ahead of that. It just gives us right to go through and maintain those to make sure we have proper drainage throughout the town.
It's part of a larger network, obviously.
Yep, that picks up some water from across the street as well as from the south and conveys it to the north end. And then taking a sidewalk easement is typical procedure for this board and for the town to take sidewalk easements for future expansions.
okay.
And I think Terry did a good job. He pointed out the ag exemption. Just, we wanted to make the applicant aware that this, if this was to be a 7-acre parcel, it would be qualified for the ag exemption. They just have to show records for that and that exemption through the town assessor's office. However, it's a 5-acre subdivision. They're aware of that. They're willing to move forward with the 5-acre.
What does the exemption give them?
I believe it's
There's
a break in taxes.
tax implications as being an agricultural operation. So
Yes.
that's-
For the assessment on the land itself, not the structures.
But you have to have active agriculture there and show X amount of money and profits generated from the agriculture to the assessor
So
to qualify for that. It's not just
7 acres. It's
Correct.
activity
Correct.
with 7 acres.
agricultural,
Okay.
exactly.
So the remaining.
My clarification.
The remaining
Good
acreage
question.
the remaining acreage is eligible for that and can continue to be farmed, and you just show that you're
Okay.
generating funds from the property.
But as a 5-acre parcel, it meets the requirements for having the barn structures on it. It has the pre-existing structures as it is, so there were no issues with that.
Okay.
Okay, unless there's any other concerns, I'll make a motion.
So we have an EAF was
EAF,
provided,
yeah,
and if
yep.
the board feels...
I'll make the motion to approve the EAF.
I'll second.
So you have Tidings
And Bastion.
and Bastion.
Hetzke,
Aye.
Bastian,
Aye.
Canower,
Aye.
Tidings.
Aye.
And
And then I'll
for
make the,
approval of the project?
yep, I'll make the motion for the approval.
I'll second.
Hetzke,
Aye.
Bastian,
Aye.
Canower,
Aye.
Tidings.
Aye.
All right, thank you. We'll be in touch.
So we'll work with you and your surveyor to get the map filed and the easements, and so there's some other items to clean up, but the board action is completed.
Thank you all very much.
You're welcome.
Thanks for
Merry
coming.
Christmas.
Merry Christmas to you. Sarah, thank you.
You're welcome. Thanks for coming. Have a good night.
All right, one of yours.
Back to the sketch.
Does anybody know if it's a restaurant?
I've been
I mean,
there
I've always
about
thought
20
it's a
years
party
ago.
house.
I
It's a
thought it
party
was just
house.
a party
There's a
house.
bar on the side of it, but I've only been there for a party.
If it is a restaurant, it, you know, I mean, how many thousands of people are watching TV, they, you know, maybe go.
Yeah, I would advertise
You know,
it.
give them a free advertising.
I'm only aware of them being a party house or going, I've been there for events before, but
Yeah,
Mainly a
yeah,
banquet
it's me
facility.
too. Okay. Um, It's a pretty ambitious endeavor.
What's the overall feel first, I guess?
I don't have a problem with it per se, as long as they can, you know, I drove out there to look at it, and it's, you know, you got wetlands all around, and then this mountain that they're gonna carve out the side of it. And it's,
I think it's important
it
to
is what
note
it is.
that the applicant has made this application for sketch plan, obviously to get the board's first concerns, and they're trying to vet out, you know, really what they're getting into here, the overall cost of this project, and what's going to do to the business, you know, pros and cons, basically. As Nate pointed out in his presentation, that there are several permits involved with this process, and now the applicant, the owner, he's aware of that. DEC being one of them, and there's several other. They're proposing disturbances in county land in the town right away, so there's other approvals just for the disturbances alone. And then obviously the challenge of getting the excess material, the excavated material off-site, and can that come to fruition? So again, a point of this project right now as a sketch plan is to really vet out for the owner what hurdles are ahead of them if they attempt to move forward with this. And again, obviously first and foremost, what are the board's initial concerns?
Well, you know, if we can help a local business succeed, why would we stand in the way for,
there's a
without
definite
good cause?
need, but there's also some EPODs. I mean, it is a steep slope, it is a woodland, there are wetlands, so there are a lot of environmental concerns. So I think it's gonna be a balance of, you know, the betterment of the property and also protection of the environmental stuff around the area.
What kind of opportunity would there be for the erosion and the silt and the runoff to get into Arundecoy Creek?
That's something we have to pay
that's a
very close
huge
attention
issue
to.
environmentally.
I mean, the Army Corps is going to be involved, the DEC is going to be involved because you're so close to waterways. They're going to have sediment basins, you know, belt and suspenders. He was talking about silt fence and some other stuff. You know, I'm sure once they develop a plan, you're going to have temporary sediment basins and rain if that, you know, kind of washes off. Layers of erosion control just to the sensitivity. I mean,
Is there topo on that?
Doug's looking at the aerial map, you can see there's wetlands around it. It's a beautiful area.
Yeah.
As Mr. Linsky shared, there's great hiking trails through there. It backs up to Lucian Moran Park. It has waterways next to it that people kayak, canoe. So it's a beautiful area down there, but as you're stating, there's a lot of environmental concerns that, you know, that need to be thoroughly vetted out as they get into this.
When I heard about the trailhead there, is this going to become an attractive nuisance for little kids going on a hike, and they're going to say, hey, let's climb that steep bank? During the course of the removal?
2.5 is not, I mean,
But during the course of the removal, I mean, it could stretch out for years from what I understood,
I
from what
think
he
you'd have to
said.
put some orange construction fence and
Or it should be
cordon off the area.
Yeah, it's, there's a lot to this for us, you know.
And depending on how long, how fast, there's gonna be a lot of truck traffic. If you gotta take it out of there, going over the bridge, going over the road. So I think that's future consideration. That's the only bridge in town that we own.
What's the capacity of the bridge?
It was newly redone, so I mean, it's a good condition bridge. It wasn't great before, but we just redid it. It's gotta be 10 years ago or something, so it's in good condition now, but that's something we're gonna wanna go out, take pictures of, document the existing condition, because if you're running trucks, you know, he's talking about taking upwards of 30,000 yards of material out. Hopefully we can scale some of that back, but taking that much material over the road and the bridge, you know, we want to make sure that, you know, it isn't damaged during that process.
Or fails?
yeah, I mean, going there, but just,
Yeah.
you know,
I'm
just
saying,
just
I-
the wear
I
and
don't
tear
think
on it
so.
and everything else is, you know, that's some of the stuff we'll ask their engineer if they do decide to move ahead. But these are some of the concerns we can pass on to the applicant, that
It's part of the PRC memo as well.
we're gonna document this stuff, and these are some additional things the board's gonna wanna see if you do choose to move forward, you know, to provide some surety to the town that our own infrastructure isn't
I mean,
damaged.
he's gotten away with, what, 35 parking places forever, right? Him and whoever owned that
There is a
private-
need, I mean, I've been down there,
Yeah,
you
I
park all the way
parked up
down
and
Old
down the road.
Browncroft, all the way out to,
Double-sided too.
441.
Yeah.
well, all the way out to Browncroft at the entrance.
And they get
you know,
people parking on both sides of the road as well, which does
Oh,
create an access issue.
Oh, it's,
Right.
it
You know,
was,
there's concerns with the fire marshal of getting a fire truck
Yeah.
down there if there was a situation during a party or an event. Now you're trying to get a fire truck down with cars on both sides of the road.
Right.
If there's snow or it's wintertime, now you're parking closer together.
and they usually use that big tent down there, that's what I mentioned to Nate there. It's usually right in front, I think, so all those spots right along the front
You
of the
should
building.
put it on the patio
Yeah.
or out
I'm
on
trying to see the
deck.
frame of it on the aerial here.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
put it right out on the deck, and, you know, it's a nice spot, and there is gonna be, you know, a lot of environmental things
There you
to work
Yeah.
through.
Yeah, it's too bad there's not other land around that area just to put in more parking spots.
There is a little flat area in the back. Unfortunately, it's not on their property. So Doug's kind of highlighting, they do have a little flat space back there, but I think that
Is
abuts
that
the,
county?
I think that's
Yeah.
county parkland.
Yeah.
So they are kind of
Maybe the
limited.
county
just-
want the dirt.
I mean, I'm
won't
sure they're
pay
gonna
for it.
investigate,
They don't pay for it, I don't think.
No, they're not gonna pay for it.
and I think they're just looking for somebody, I mean, there's trees on the hill, there's other stuff that, you know, they maybe offset the cost, and hey, you get all the
Right.
trees, the wood, the, you know, the
Yeah.
soil material, if a contractor or somebody's in need of it, and they're
Right.
willing to take it off. I think they're trying to barter, you know,
Right.
material for having them remove it and bring it to grade.
Okay. Yeah.
So I
Yeah,
guess
I
So
I
let's
know,
take a
think
shot
that-
if they wanna.
Yeah, I think so
Yeah,
too.
so
I agree.
we need a motion to.
think we'll just highlight all those environmental
Send a letter.
concerns.
Send them a
and-
letter.
Send a letter.
What about the trailhead and parking
Take
for the
credit.
trailhead? You know,
The trail is just off of their property. There is a little bit of parking there now, but I think we can add, you know, notes at least to accommodate a few spaces. Right now, you kind of pull up to the berm. There's a couple of spots at the end that you can park now. I'm sure parking's a premium. If he's adding so many spaces, he's not gonna wanna give up the whole lot. But I think we
no,
can
but I
make
mean,
sure
that's also,
that
yeah,
park
how
trailhead is.
often would they be needed during one of
Right,
their
are they,
events?
are they gonna
Well, it's never been a
overlap?
concern in the past, because I've been down there, and I don't think it ever came up before, unless,
Yeah, I think people to, the trail kind of park down the stub at the end of the street, and then, but we can have at least signage put up trailhead parking only, or provide some
Hours
designated
or
space.
whatever. Yeah.
I don't know if we're sure whether we were parking on Lindenberg's property or whether we were on county property, so that needs to be defined better.
Right.
Where parking is available, where people should be walking, so they're not on private property.
Yeah, the road is owned by the town,
Yeah.
so even if you pull to the end, the town still owns the right-of-way all the way up through there. So it is town-owned property, it's blocked at the north end. Yeah, Doug's showing kind of where it's blocked at the north end, and there's the gap, and then it's blocked at the south end. The town still owns the right-of-way through there. There's still utilities in there, there's electric overhead, there's water main in there.
Why is it blocked?
Sanitary now.
It's, the condition of the road is not great, and the slope of it. There used to be issues with cars sliding down through there. That's why New Browncroft was built.
That's really dark on the screen.
So that was basically taken away, but people hike through there, so there's kind of an opening at the end.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can see the end, it's kind of barriered off, and then there's just enough space. You can walk around the barrier and then walk down and then access into the park from there. So
Okay.
that's, Doug's looking at the east end of it. The west end of it is on the going to your side, so it's
Right.
several hundred
A little
feet
more.
apart.
Yeah.
But the road's not open for vehicular traffic, but pedestrians can access through there.
Okay.
Move to send a letter?
Second it.
And Terry, a second?
Terry's got the second.
All right.
I'm sorry, I totally missed that one.
Bastion and Terry.
Thank you.
Can you see what those glasses?
Hetzke.
Aye.
Bastian.
Aye.
Canower.
Aye.
Tidings.
Aye.
Do Harris. All right. So
All right.
That's those. We have two miscellaneous items. First one is at 1734 Harris Road. The owner is looking to merge the two properties that Doug is highlighting right now. No plans to build on that flag lot that's about 2 acres currently. They just want to merge it into lot 1, so it's a 2-to-1 merge. Staff had no issues. Board okay to authorize chairman to sign?
I'm okay. I move to authorize the chairman to sign.
I'll second.
Hetzke.
Aye.
Bastian.
Aye.
Canower.
Aye.
Tidings.
Aye.
Thank you. The second miscellaneous item is for an application that was recently reapproved by the board in the summer. It's for the Ugea Dental project on 2100 Penfield Road. They've come to us with a request to do a 180 with the building, as in flip it. Currently, the front entrance faces, as approved, it faces Penfield Road. The idea was to park in the back, provide a sidewalk for customers, patients, I should say, to use the sidewalk to get to the main entrance in the front. Employees enter through the back. However, now that there's some development in this B&R district, recently with Rengen Orthodontics at the corner of Harris Wayland and Penfield Road, they see the start of the access drive that would come towards the rear, comes to the rear of the properties. And this plan was approved as kind of a phase 1, phase 2, where the phase 2 would start and the rear access drive would provide that connection out to Harris Wayland Park Road, and the front curb cut on Penfield Road would go away. With that in mind, trying to foresee the future, the applicant would like to turn the building 180 degrees, have the main entrance off the rear parking lot, come in through the back. They did provide some elevation updates of the building designs. Let's go with north. So this is very similar to the architectural designs that were approved with the project originally. This is just basically taking the front and flipping it to the back. One key thing to note here, not subject to this board, but if this modification is approved, the applicant would have to go to the zoning board for that sign that's shown there over that entranceway. That would be a second sign on the building. They want to keep the one out front. So again, at the time of construction or at the time they kind of bring in that phase 2 and implement that, however they want to do it, that variance would have to be applied for to the zoning board for a second sign.
So that's the elevation you would see from
441.
From 441. Yes.
So they originally designed it kind of looking like a two-sided building as it is from the road, but rather than having people park in the back and walk around the front, I think they're starting to see as urgent care went in, eyesight's going in, that trend is continuing with kind of the rear access. The front eventually is going to close off, so I think they're reallocating or reorienting their stuff internally to make more sense to have the entrance right in the back, the parking lot's back there, come in the back, but you still have a residential look to the front of the building.
How is that going to look with the other developments going on along that stretch?
Well, it's, 3 parcels away from
I think Rengen's
Rengen's.
got similar ephes, stone band around the
Facing
bottom.
441.
Yeah, I think Rengen's side, I think it kind of ties in what they had there. It's theirs is more of a 2-story building, but it's got an ephes finish to it.
Oh, that doesn't have it. Google probably does. I was going to say if you wanted to show Rengen.
Yeah, Rengen's the first 2 lots on the left side. So currently there is no access down to right now. We call it the street view.
But it would be in line with the other structures on the...
Yep, it'll
Along
still
there,
push
along
it,
through that
push it
stretch.
closer to the road as this board's been moving, is to move the building forward front. So that's the Rengen Orthodontics building, again, kind of the same stone banding down the bottom, either siding or ephes in the vertical part. So I think it's kind of a similar style
pitch single
look.
roof.
So again, kind of a business but a residential character.
How's the feedback been on that building?
So far, I've heard a lot of people like it. like that. And then on the other corner, you can see the construction starting, but urgent care is going up quickly.
Urgent care, yeah.
Then Eyesight's the next one down.
By Summit.
Right by Summit. And those are moving along quickly as well.
Yeah.
So it seems it kind of took a while for that corridor to start filling in. We are having conversations with the two businesses in between of continuing that access drive in there. So those two businesses, that was part of their original approval, was once all units turned over to commercial that they had to build the access drive. So they were informed as part of this process. Now they're working with one of the contractors to get their access drive installed as well.
Okay.
As a related matter.
Yeah, just kind of.
All right, how's everybody feeling about?
Going back to Ugea.
Ugea.
Sorry, I got a sidebar there.
I think it's probably a good idea.
I'm okay with it.
Yeah, not gonna change the site plan as the board approved, it's just gonna,
Setbacks are still the same, no changes there.
Parking's the same.
Parking's still the same, literally just doing a turn.
I'm okay with that.
All right. Entertain a motion?
I'll make
Terry?
Yeah. Second.
Canower? Okay, Bob. Terry and Bob.
Hetzke,
Terry and Canower. Aye.
Bastian,
I did the same thing.
Canower,
Aye.
Heidi.
Aye.
All right,
All right.
with that, no other matters.
Is there zoning board meetings?
No,
No.
they will have one the first week of January.
yeah, they canceled their December meeting and moved up their January meeting earlier.
All right. Any other business that we have to discuss?
That
No?
concludes it.
All right. I guess we will adjourn. Merry Christmas, everybody.
When's our next meeting?
Next meeting is January
12.
12th.